Hello everyone, my name is the Fox, and we are Steam Pals. Steam's Next Fest is live right now, and we all decided to take a look and find a few demos and talk about them. On my side, I've picked two games. First up is Soulstone Survivors. For anyone who's had the opportunity to play Vampire Survivors, you'll largely know what you are getting into. Most of the gameplay loops are already extremely well implemented, but there is quite obviously a number of areas where polish still needs to enter into it. Without a doubt, this game has already sunk its claws into my brain. For my second game, I'd recommend Zero Sievert. For a single venture into a procedurally generated wasteland, the dense environment peppered with interesting obscured environments blends well with piquing my curiosity while maintaining a cautious way forward. My first trip out felt decidedly non-procedural, and enemy AI reacts as I would expect, especially when I catch them off guard while they are reloading. Every action you make from looting, reloading to walking requires thought and care. Out of the demos I played, these would be my top picks.
What's good, Deck Gang? It's Richard from Fan to Deck, and I chose Vengeful Guardian Moonrider for this video. By the way, forgive my voice as I'm still recovering from COVID. In any case, this is a game that I've been anticipating for years. I've been following Joy Mashers since their first Steam game, Oniken. The through line of their games has been their unique ability to capture the spirit of 16-bit action games. Moonrider fits this mold perfectly. It's an ode to Ninja Gaiden and Shinobi, and while it would be quite a stretch to call it innovative, it captures everything that makes this formula still attractive to many. The demo for Moonrider portrays a steadfast dedication to the craft of 3 decades ago. The pixel art is evocative, the controls are crisp, the music nails the mood, and the challenge is fine-tuned. The demo itself is incredibly short. It only contains the tutorial segment and 2 levels. The entirety can be completed within 30 minutes. But it's more than enough to make your own opinion. Moreover, this sort of game lives and dies by its replay value, and I immediately felt the pull to replay the available levels. You're given a rank at the end of each level, and after receiving my first C level rank, I told myself that simply will not do, and I went back for the S rank. Further adding to the replay value are these hidden modifiers that allow you to change the fighting style of the protagonist. I can't wait to see the many ways that this alters gameplay, and overall I was left wanting more, and I take that as a good sign. Thankfully, it won't be a long wait. Vengeful Guardian Moonrider will get an official release later this fall.
This is High Tech Lowlife, and I am a Steam Pal. This right here is Azure Striker Gunvolt 3. The latest in the Gunvolt series. Developed by Inti Creates, the developers of the Mega Man Zero and ZX series. The Gunvolt series is an action platformer series, much in the vein of those games in particular. In Gunvolt 3, you'll actually spend most of the game playing as Kirin, but you can actually tag in and out Gunvolt at will. Compared to the other 2 Gunvolt games, this one feels a lot smoother and a lot better too. I guess it also helps that Gunvolt 3 wasn't a 3DS game to begin with, unlike the other 2. Even Gunvolt himself has some new moves as well, and as Kirin, you have access to a bunch of different skills known as image pulses, which are basically assist techniques that you can use at any time, on a cooldown of course. By themselves, the Gunvolt games can be more on the difficult side of things, but all I can say is if you pay attention to the boss patterns, then you can pretty much figure out how to dodge everything. And heck, you can even counter some techniques with your own techniques, like so. That said, if you've never played a Gunvolt game, then do know that if you get a high enough score, J-pop music will start playing, as a little reward for getting good in this game. In the normal difficulty, you don't really lose score ever, even by being hit, but I suspect in the higher difficulties in the full game, that won't necessarily be the case. In this demo in particular, there are actually 2 different levels. One of them is a tutorial level, and the other one is an actual level where you get to make use of all of your abilities. And there's a couple of abilities you don't get until after the first level. Anyways, the game releases in winter 2022, as they say, but the game's actually been out for quite some time on the Switch. Since July 28th of this year, actually. Though, to be fair though, when this game was announced, the Steam Deck wasn't even really a thing. But hey, for those of you looking to try out the entire franchise, you can try out Gunvolt 1, 2, and Luminous Avenger X 1 and 2 as well, all of which are on Steam, and they go on sale fairly frequently if I do say so myself. If you like 2D action games, or if you like Mega Man in particular, give Gunvolt a try.
Hey everyone, Bill from the Nerd Nest here. The game that I picked for Steam Next Fest is Gunbrella. I first heard about this game on a Nintendo Direct, and it definitely caught my interest instantaneously. If you've ever watched my content, you know that I absolutely love this art style, this pixel art style. It's so cool and just appeals to me as a guy who grew up in the 70s and 80s. They call this game a noir punk action adventure set in a world dependent on rapidly diminishing natural resources. You play as this dude who has a gun that is an umbrella, hence the awesome title Gunbrella. And you can load in different types of ammo, you can get grenades. But the real thing that I love most about my time with this demo is the way that traversal feels. As you are running through each stage, you use the Gunbrella in order to kind of float in any direction that you want. You can bind it to the right bumper. I ended up binding it to one of the back paddles on the back of the Steam Deck. And the ability for you to just kind of outmaneuver the other characters that you're fighting against is really cool. I like that you can open up a Gunbrella at just the right time in order to deflect or parry bullets back at the people who are shooting at you or at the robots that are shooting at you. And you can even use it to like if you open it up at the right time, you can bounce like dogs that are attacking you against like a wall of spikes. Overall, I think that the demo for Gunbrella is really good. And if you haven't tried it out yet, make sure that you head on over to steampowered.com, type in Gunbrella, and try it out. I don't think that you're going to be disappointed.
This is Timo from the Deckverse, and I'm one of the Steam pals as well. Seasons looks fantastic, but its demo came with a completely wrong screen resolution and no visual settings available at all. Friends vs. Friends turned out to be the most fun I've had in a long time, especially since kicking Noah's butt on the PC worked so well. But not so well on the Steam Deck without any noticeable aim assist for controller players, and an art style that turns that fun PvP shooter into a visually jarring mess on lower settings. The Entropy Centre is still one of the most anticipated games for me, but it wouldn't start at all due to an error which actual fix would consume more time than the game's trial offers. And as I'm not allowed to talk at all about Lego Brick Tales right now, I've decided to show you Dredge. An amazing yet haunting exploration experience that didn't grab my attention at first, but rewarded my curiosity with something I've never expected. Not only does the game feel great with a simple but beautiful art style and the atmospheric and well-crafted soundtrack, it also runs perfect with a rock-solid 60 FPS, no frame pacing issues, and a small power drain of only 15 watts. Which gives you more than enough time for an eerie fishing trip where you surely might discover a thing or two that would be better left buried in the depths. Upgrading your ship, paying off debts by selling fish and delivering goods is nothing compared to the terrifying stuff you might discover in the foggy dark. There's so much more to unravel here, and this is just a small piece of what you can expect for launch in 2023.
My name is Barbecue Kitty, the creator of Steam Deck HQ, and I am a Steam pal. While scouring across the Steam Next Fest, I came across a great deal of games, some that don't play while others needed tweaks. Though I did find two games that worked really well without any modifications that I loved, Dredge and illWill. Unfortunately, one of the pals, who shall not be named as he is a big butt, decided to take Dredge for himself. So, I will instead be showing off a game he couldn't get working well, but I did, the Entropy Centre. After an extinction level event sets the world ablaze, you wake up as the last remaining person alive. Now, your only hope is to overcome challenges by manipulating time with your AI-powered gun and figuring out the truth behind the Entropy Centre in this first-person adventure. While the concept on the surface seems simple, being able to reverse and accelerate time creates some really interesting gameplay moments that allow developers to really focus on some intriguing puzzles that put you out of your comfort zone. On the deck, I had to use Proton GE 7-37, and with a mix of settings, the game hit 60 FPS around 95% of the time with some pockets of slowdown. This could easily be improved as there are a good chunk of graphical options, but I elected to keep the graphics a bit more prominent due to how gorgeous it looks. The Entropy Centre is planned to release on November 3rd of this year. After enjoying my time completing some puzzles, I was in the mood to mow down some enemies, and luckily, illWill comes along. With influences coming from Doom, Serious Sam, and Quake, illWill takes you into a gorgeous, unique-looking world that became the highlight of my experience. Though that isn't all. There will be hundreds of monsters waiting to stop you and a variety of classic and new weapons like the double barrel shotgun all the way to the Soul Ripper to help make your way through them all. On deck, the performance was pretty damn good. For most part, it was able to hover around 60 and, with some minor tweaks, could stay there for a majority of the time. illWill also does have gyro support. All you have to do is enable it and set the behavior to as joystick. The demo did not have a key binding page though, so I don't know if there were any inputs being missed, but the game was fun regardless. illWill will be out on December 1st on Steam.
Hey there! I picked The Case of the Golden Idol for this. It's one of those games where I'm not really sure how it ended up in my wishlist. I guess someone recommended it to me. Doesn't really matter though, because it's very intriguing at first sight. In spirit, it's a game that's rather similar to something like The Return of the Obra Dinn, which is a hard recommendation by the way, it's really good. And you are a detective who needs to solve murders. These murders are presented in little vignettes, and they play out like small point-and-click adventure scenes. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, you have this exploring and thinking panel, and you can switch back and forth between the two. In the exploring panel, you search for clues and words and names and landmarks, and in the thinking panel, you combine all these into these scrolls, as the game calls them, until you're able to say who met their untimely death and why. The beginning is quite easy. You have one screen where you find all the information you need, but it gets more complex quite fast, where you have multiple screens, a lot of characters, and even more hints and curveballs thrown at you. It becomes super satisfying to work your way through these scrolls and find out who are the card players at the table and why was this person killed to begin with. If done well, I really like this gameplay loop, and it seems to be done extremely well here. Super satisfying. And it works really well with the Steam Deck too, because you can pick it up and play one of these vignettes and then get off your train or the transit or wherever you are. And if you have to turn off the Steam Deck without reaching any conclusion, I bet you will think on it until you have time to turn the Steam Deck on again. It is not a very action-heavy game though. It's as if you combine something like Return to the Obra Dinn with a point-and-click adventure game like Return to Monkey Island. If you would like to see me check out another Next Fest game, I checked out a little game called Gunbrella on my channel Xylappen. Small disclaimer though, it's in German. I'm a German dude. So, you might want to check out the subtitles. Anyways, happy to be part of the Steam Pals. See ya!
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the first video of our small joint venture, make sure to check out all of our channels, linked in the description below, and subscribe to this one. Until next time.